Okay, well, let's get started with the general cold call script, and we're going to go through this line by line. But let's first just talk about why this is such an important lead source for us. And let's dive into a couple really, really important points before we get started. So I just want you guys to know this is a unlimited lead source. Unlimited is really the key word here. And when you master this, you will become the ultimate power prospector. Seriously, if you get this strategy down, you will be invaluable to us and to your client. So why is it unlimited? Well, the truth is because your boss can pull up any zip code in their community and just pull up thousands of numbers, right? So it's a really plentiful source. It's also an opportunity for your boss to experiment with different territories and to create new business in other territories that are not maybe their dominant territories. This is a great place for you to practice with no pressure. We can do the general cold call script in an entire different community where it's not in my community. Like, for example, I have a very specific farm territory. And in that farm territory, every contact is important. So I don't want to, do trial and error on that. So I would much rather have you practice in a zip code where I don't care and you don't care. So it's perfect for you to practice and just kind of go through the motion and get comfortable. Okay. So it's also a great opportunity for that. Right? It's just really your boss can have you call immediately. So we can start here, no problem. Just start calling, call people. It's no big deal because it's not that important. Now, when you call an expired, well, there's a very limited amount of expired. So each one is really important. Same thing with the FSBO. Same thing, let's say, with my farm territory. There's a finite number of people in the farm. So, that's why this is so powerful and important, right? As I said, there's all the other lead sources. There's a finite number. Okay, with the general cold call, it's limitless. You can call everywhere. Now, the value and the service that we offer is awesome. We're offering them a home value report. We're, letting them know we'll provide them values and what's going on with the market. That's a great, super simple value add service. And that gives us the opportunity to create new relationships to nurture, right? So, it's such a great script because it's such a great service proposition, right? We're really not selling anything. So it's a total customer service feel. Okay? Your boss will want to get business in territories that they may not have sold a lot of homes. So, they might be going, all right, well, I really want to get into this community over here. So that you use the general cold call script to dig into that community, find people that have an interest in their home value, right? And then we start nurturing those relationships until we start getting some business. So the general cold call script is awesome for a lot of different reasons. So master this script and get rich. I'm telling you right now, this is such a great opportunity. So first and foremost, you guys know you got to chant this sucker. You got to chant it like crazy. You got to learn the body language, the tonality, the pauses, what to emphasize. That's so important that you learn that in your role plays. Okay? You got to ask me. I'm here. Well, Patrick, why did you put this line there? Why did you do this? I've got open-ended questions. I've got close-ended questions. I've got, the lesser of two evils closes. I've got 2 or 3 questions in a row. I do all kinds of crazy little influence and language pattern strategies. You need to understand what that is, and if you don't, you need to ask. Send me a private Facebook message. Send me a message via Skype chat, right? Just you communicate with me about that. Why did I do the order in which I did the script? Please understand why. Okay, of course you got to practice non-stop. Okay, as many role plays as you can per day. Effective role plays, of course, following the role play rules. And remember, you're repeating and improving and you're getting rapport is critical. So let's dive into the script and let's go through this thing line by line. Of course, you got to get your introduction strong. Okay, so, hi, hello, is this Bob? Hi, Bob. Hello, Bob. This is Patrick, right? I'm with blank real estate team. Real quick. Now let them, here's the thing. I was just doing some prospecting yesterday, and I would let a big long pause after I said, hey, this is Patrick. I'm a local real estate agent here in Solana Beach. And I just pause, right? And then they'd go, oh, okay, hey, how's it going? So the pause is really important. And I paused after letting them know who I was. Hey, this is Patrick, and I work with, the Keller Williams team at Banana, Banana Group, whatever. Pause, right? Hey, real quick. They say, hey, or they might respond, hey, how's it going? Or hey, what's up? Right? Hey, real quick. So make sure that you really play around with that intro. You can't rush that. Hi, Bob, this is Patrick with, the Kai and Carly real estate team. Real quick. No. Hi, hey, Bob, this is Patrick with the Kai and Carly Pacific Sotheby's team, real estate team. Real quick. So play around with your pauses, work on that. Now, we've sold a couple homes in the area with a little bit of excitement, with some energy, right? So I put that in brackets, excitement. So it's like bring some energy. Hey, we've sold a couple homes in the area. And remember, we might not have sold a lot of homes in that area, but it's just a nice way to say that, hey, we're a local real estate agent. We've sold a couple homes in the area, and we're just reaching out to all of the neighbors to see, do you have any questions about the local real estate market? Okay, we're reaching out to all of the neighbors. Notice how I use that lots of all. What that does is it's kind of entertaining, it's interesting. All right, we just reach out to all of the neighbors, right? Do you have any questions about the local real estate market? Right? I like using that word local a lot. You guys will hear me, I'm a local real estate agent, local real estate market, right? Especially the more you guys use that term, the more you make it feel local, the better this thing is. Now, what I want you to know is they're probably not going to have any questions because it's the first question we are going to ask them. And whenever you ask the first question in any prospecting and any sales, you always get a reflexive no, right? So I want them to say no. It's totally okay. So we'll just repeat it, we'll approve of it, and we'll move on. Right? Gosh, do you have any questions about the local real estate market? No, I don't have any questions. We're not interested. No questions, not interested? No problem. Repeat, approve, move on. Right? Okay, here's the rapport builders. Hey, you're still over on, great question from one of my good prospecting buddies. Hey, you're still over on Banana Street, right? Right, because remember we have the address in front of us, let's say on our Mojo and our prospecting system. You're still over on Banana Street, right? And they're like, well, yeah, we're still here. Great. Well, how long have you been here in? How long have you lived in? How long have you been here in? Whichever way works better for you. How long have you been in Encinitas, where I live? Hey, how long have you been in Encinitas? How long have you been in Solana Beach? How long have you been in New York? How long have you been in Miami? Right? How long have you been here in, right, the city name in which you're prospecting? Okay, this is an opportunity. Then we give them the positive recognition, right? So they say, well, if it's over 10 years, wow, that's a long time. Positive recognition. If over 5 years, wow, that's a pretty long time, right? If under 5 years, wow, that's not a long time, right? So I just wanted to give you a little bit of repeating and approval there, right? Because this is a good rapport builder. We're asking two super easy questions for them to answer. That's what these are for. You're still over on Banana Street, right? Well, yeah. So I got good, yes. Well, how long have you been here in Encinitas? About 10 years. 10 years? Wow, that's a long time. Boom. Now I've got them a little bit more involved, right? So that's what those two questions are for. Let's go to the value proposition. With an excited tonality, well, hey, prices are up, 15% in Encinitas over the last 2 years. Okay, we need to get the 2-year statistic from your boss. I'm going to use 2 years because that's where we can get the biggest number, right? So in the United States over the last 2 years, prices have increased generally across the country a lot. So if we use the 2 years, it's really more of an effective number, right? So prices are up, 15% in Encinitas over the last 2 years. So, we're just sharing with all of the neighbors a home value report. Pause. Notice I spaced the home value report a little bit. We're just sharing with all the neighbors a home value report. Notice how my emphasis there. We're just sharing with all of the neighbors a home value report. Would you like one too? We are sharing. Would you like one too? Downswing. See the DS? Downswing. Right? Not would you like one too? Would you like one also? It's would you like one too? Downswing. I used my arm to go down on that. Okay? So, listen, that's our first little service proposition close. So you've got to deliver those two lines powerfully. Hey, prices are up 15% in Encinitas over the last 2 years. So we're sharing with all of the neighbors a home value report. Would you like one too? Right? Boom. Notice I had a great little tonality there. Would you like one too? A little downswing, but I'm really interested. Just curious, would you like one too? Great. Now, with the tonality of no big deal, they say yes. Great, well, we would be happy to eat, to simply, notice I'm using the word simply. We'd be happy to simply, just meaning like it's easy, no big deal. We'd be happy to simply email you one, downswing, not email you one. We'd be happy to simply email you one, no big deal. Or do you want to know what's the highest price? Okay, lots of emphasis on highest. Or do you want to know what's the highest price your home would sell for in today's market? Which sounds better? Okay, so it's what it's called a two-option close. I'm giving them two options. One is I want them to give me their email, but two is I want to know if they want the highest price. Because if they want to know the highest price, that usually leads to more interested in selling and moving. Okay? If they just want the home value report and they want to give me the email, that probably means their motivation's a little bit lower. They're just curious about values. But if they want to know the highest price, that probably means that they might be interested in selling. So I give them the two-option close here. Both of them, we win. That's what I love about that. Okay, so get their email or better. The email is kind of the minimum standard we want from this particular script, right? I talked about the strategy of the lesser of two evils, or what's called the two-option close. If they say yes to either one of those, we win, which is great, right? And as I stated, if they want to know the highest price, then that means that they're most likely motivated to sell. So let's discover their motivation. So let's get back to the script. Just curious, if you were to ever sell this home, where would you move to next? I also put in there go. You can use go. Where would you go next? Right? So move or go, either way is fine, right? Now, where makes this an open-ended question. If you were to sell this home, where would you go next? This is a big conversation. Okay, so I have some additional questions that you could ask. These are optional, right? Would you stay in the area or would you move out? Right? It's one of my favorite questions. So you say, well, if you were to ever sell this home, where would you go next? And they say, well, I don't really know. Now, again, that's just kind of a reflex no. They're just not really responding. So let's ask an additional question. They say, well, I don't really know. No problem. Well, would you stay in the area or would you move out? Oh, no, we would definitely move out of the area. Ah, they'd move out of the area. Good. Well, what about another question here? Well, when was the last time that you looked at new properties? When was the last time you looked for new properties? Now, this tells us a lot. Okay, so this is going to tell us if they are actively searching for that next property. Because everybody is, listen, on the first question, if you were to ever sell this home, where would you go to next? Right, we can ask that of every person. And everybody's thinking of where they would go next. That's a natural conversation. I want you to have that with all of your friends, all of your family. Well, if you were ever to move from here, where would you guys go next? Oh, well, we'd move closer to the beach. Well, if you were to ever leave here, where would you go next? Oh, God, I'd really love to get an apartment closer to the city. Well, if you're ever to move here, where would you go next? Well, I'd really love to move over there. There's better schools for the kids. It's a lot safer. So everybody has an answer to that first question. It's a total conversational question. Now, getting into the when was the last time you looked at new properties, that's now giving us an indication. Are they actively pursuing this? So, a couple additional questions. Have you seen anything that you liked? Right? Have you been looking for a while? Right? That kind of builds that conversation. So additional questions to kind of build that conversation to get a little bit more out of it. Right? Now let's get that motivation. So what would be your ideal time frame to make a move? What would be your ideal time frame to make a move? Okay, a couple additional questions there. This year, next year, 3 to 6 months, 6 to 9 months. I love giving people two options to pick. Right? Well, would you, instead of saying, imagine this. Well, what would be the ideal time frame to move? Well, not anytime soon. Right? So they say, well, not anytime soon. So an additional question is required because it's not clear. Well, so if you said, well, would you do it this year? It's not effective, upswing. But if you said, well, would you do it like this year or next year? Well, we'd probably do it next year. Okay. Well, would you do it towards the beginning of the year or are you guys thinking kind of towards summertime? Two options. Well, probably in the beginning of the year. That's great. See, it went from what would be the ideal time frame to make the move? And they said, not anytime soon. So I asked that additional question, this year or next year. Now, next thing you know, they're talking about moving at the beginning of next year. Boom. See how that little additional question makes all the difference in the world. Now, let's test them a little bit. Okay, well, if we had a buyer interested in your neighborhood, would you want us to give you a call? See, now we're testing them a little bit. And that's a great test. So let's say they said, well, so today it's April, or right now it's the end of April when I'm recording this. So let's say they were like, well, towards the end of the year. And I said, oh, that's great, right? And so I said, well, if we had a buyer interested in your neighborhood, would you want us to give you a call? Now, and they're like, well, yeah, but maybe like not this month, but maybe like next month. They They just revealed a little bit that they're much more motivated than what they were telling me. Aha. You see how good that question is? It just kind of, if they're like, no, 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 do not call me under any circumstances until next year. Okay, great. So they're not moving this year. That's very clear and definite, right? And it's not an objection handler. That's a commit. That's a condition. No, we're not moving down. Don't call me. We're not moving. Call me next year because that's when we will want to talk about it. Great. I made a note of that here. Okay, do you see how good that additional question really helps out? Now, if they play with us a little bit, if they say, well, give me a call, you can call me in the next couple months if something pops up. Well, great. At what price would you become a seller? At what price would you be interested in selling your home? And if that kind of gets them a little bit more involved in this conversation, that's good too, right? Now, right, are they motivated at all? Right? Did they give you a time frame that's less than 1 year? 1 year, not years. Did they bite at the buyer question? Did they give you a number they would sell for? Okay, based upon their answer, either set them up on a seller drip campaign, get the email and set them up that way. If it's kind of long term after a year, if they're kind of inside of a year, we want a phone appointment. If we're thinking that it's inside of 6 months, we want the face-to-face appointment, right? So after getting their motivation, you need to be at this point of starting to make some decisions to know how you want to close on this person. So let's close appropriately, right? Are we just getting the email? Are we just getting the phone? Or are we getting the face-to-face? Which one is it going to be, right? If you accurately assessed their motivation, then you know which one to go after. So let's take a look at the close. Right? I love this phrase, based upon what you've told me. Right? Based upon what you've told me. It's what I refer to as the summary close. It's really very nice. Based upon what you've told me, I'll email over a home value report as soon as possible. Right? ASAP is as soon as possible. I'll email over the home value report ASAP, as soon as possible. And we want to get it over to them immediately. Like, go enter in their information now, maybe into the market snapshot, send it over right away. Then, agent's name can call you to answer any questions. So this is a great way to, no matter what, we're sending them the home value report, but we're also letting them know that our agent will call them just to answer any questions about the home value report. It's a great way to get your client to talk to that particular lead. And finally, let's set an appointment to have agent's name come see your property so we can tell you what's the highest price your home will sell for. Does that sound good, downswing? Not does that sound good? Does that sound good, downswing? Right? So we've got we'll email you, set up the phone, and let's set up the face-to-face. Right? Boom. When would be a good time to contact you to review the home value report? We're just closing for time frame right now. Right? When is a good time to schedule an appointment to come over and see the property and discuss your plans? Now let's give them multiple options on this close. This is what I want to share with you, right? Is this week or next week better? Okay, notice we're starting broad, right? We're going to go broad and we're going to narrow. Is this week or next week better? Well, next week is better, right? And you'll find a lot of people, they choose the later. If you try and close too soon, like today or tomorrow, people get a little turned off by that. Is this week or next week better? Remember, this is kind of setting the face-to-face appointment. And they say, well, next week is a little bit better. Great. Early next week or kind of towards the end of next week? Again, we're staying broad. No, not early. Let's go later. Okay, awesome. So like Thursday or Friday? Yeah, no, I can't do Friday, but Thursday sounds good. Okay, Thursday sounds good. Do you want to do, afternoon or evening? Well, no, I can't do afternoon because my wife and da 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 da, so it'd have to be early evening. Cool. So I got you a Thursday early evening. Now would 5 or 6 o'clock work better for you? Well, we'd have to do 6. 6 o'clock, great. So I got you Thursday at 6 o'clock next week. You know, Patrick Ferry from Pacific Sotheby's will come over. I'm sending the report already. I'm going to let them know that you're receiving that. I'll have them give you a call, tomorrow, just to review any questions, and then they can talk to you about meeting you on Thursday of next week. Bam. Okay, so you notice my time frame closes. Start big, go back down. It's a powerful way to do it. Okay, so the general cold call script. Master this script and you'll get rich. Okay, this is such an important opportunity. Any questions, please let me know. Add it into the Facebook group. Skype message me. Get with your role play partners. Start chanting. Let's get to work. All right, have a great one.